Okay, this is greetings from the Ra Collective, more the embodiment of the true light speaking. So whenever you can say I channel, or our data stream is, I'm not your traditional channel. It's more bleeding in that Ra collective as it of the Ra, becoming more. What is this time teaching us? This time is teaching us now, as we are on lockdown. It's more by whether it's 5G or a virus report. For those that are healthy, it's not a reality. They're not sick. It is an act. It is a reality for those who put on a mask, who play the game. Those who choose fear over love, who play the game. But what about the gardener that tends his garden, chooses love? What about the being that chooses love, plants seeds, the seeds grow, and the fruits they bear are good? So when every time the hero travels, he must distance himself from the regular construct of those who do not travel. Certain movies you see them as hobbits, or nomads, or muggles. They decide to stay in place, because going towards the unknown, it's dangerous for the comfort zone. Where I rest here, where I'm settled, where I'm safe. Those who live in the unknown, or those who went into the unknown, have less of a struggle these days, other than those who are bound to a construct of this is my work, this is how I commute back and forth. Right now it's shut down. So the addiction is to the routine of staying asleep. But in this ascension process, this doesn't work anymore, It's not happening. It's forcing us to look at ourselves, because, when the towers fell, the world we have left we cannot return to. We're forced to go into alpha, like from unconscious to conscious. Now, as we are in this situation right now, and let's move away from all conspiracy for a minute. A reality for you is right now what? How are you feeling today? Can you leave your house? A reality that hits all, which is a physical reality. Is there enough toilet paper? As funny as it sounds. Are you taken care of? Are you watching your neighbor? Is your neighbor taken care of? How do we treat one another in this endeavor? And a side note with what collective experience bleeds in is also many seek the path to spiritual enlightenment or contact or extraterrestrials or extraterrestrial origin as a means of escape. And they're not progressing, nor is the experience. So as I always bring back, which is our job, the paranormal, is staying grounded in the world. And rightfully so, we have skeptics that say, yeah, spiritual, there's no such thing as spiritual. If you're contemplating about a situation, it's spiritual, it's software. Spiritual is software, manifests into vitality, health, and wellness, and wealth is the hardware. And the commercial aspect is of, how big is your house, your car, how hot is your wife, or how many partners do you have. This is just a physical aspect of a physical, you can say, fourth dimensional Hollywood range interpretation of what that should be. According to the Ra collective, and I'm in resonance with that, we have yet to master 4D. So to say 5D is already here is a little bit preposterous, because you're not levitating right now. Worldwide we have ESP classes, remote viewing classes, people moving needles. That's where we are right now. We're in an infant stage. According to the law of one, we in 4D, and we've been in it 85 years now. Must have started maybe somewhere around World War I, World War II, when this thing came in, you must think. So the idea is 4D is the mastering of thought, the astral realm, which is a simulation template. It's a different distortion than this. Everything is a distortion, an offset of the source, since the source has split itself to explore itself, as in I am aware of that I exist. In many movies that is depicted and displayed for you to see. Self-awareness. When does that come in? How is that being displayed? In self-awareness, we have measured people that are transcendental meditation practitioners, people that are Zen meditation, Buddhistic. I see myself as an embodiment of a bodhisattva, as in the glory of the light is in me, so it is in you. I exist because the environment around me exists and reflects as, and that I exist as an aspect of you. The job is, in the divine purpose, is by divine thought, can we do something to not upset? So a lot of sexual healing has to take place on this planet. Derogatory gestures, online trolling. The online trolling, see, when people set boundaries, and that's globally for all, especially for the women out there, so I have many clients that tell me this, when they define boundaries, you can say invaders don't back up. So if we don't respect one another's wishes, that's already an imbalance we must face, especially around this time where everybody's at home. When somebody defines, if somebody says to you, I do no longer wish to receive communication from you, to galactically tune yourself in is then you heed the words, you empathically match what's felt, and you step back. You do not create or cause upset. If somebody generates an upset that is not the cause coming from you, that is their upset. But the deal here is, if you upsetting, and if you create an upset to people without them triggering you into do such, that's your doing. That is your cause, that is your responsibility. So for millennials and younger ones, well, if mommy pays the rent right now, there's no escape from that. Mommy pays your rent right now. Question is, when you can take care of yourself, then you become self-sufficient, self-efficient, self-effective, and you acknowledge self. I've seen people using their sickness to be mean. And there's a choice. You wake up that one morning, do you have to drink that Jack Daniels? Do you have to drink that Hennessy? It's a choice. If you had cellular awareness of the havoc that alcohol causes in the body, if you'd had that awareness embodied in you, you would stop. In that instant, that's called enlightenment. When you are realizing what you were doing and you put a halt to it. So it's time to reflect now, we have to look at what creates an upset, and we have to stop creating the upset. We have to also stop over spiritualizing, as in this lesson must be taught for. I've learned that in school, when you build your sandcastle, or you have something that you created, and something feels, it has to have an opinion. And nobody asked for that opinion. So they go and smash your castle, or they use a spray can and mess up your painting. And as a child, I would ask, like, why would you do such a thing? And then the bully would say, because I'll hate you, and you ain't shit. So I went further. I said, okay, so my creation is upsetting to you. Why do you pick me as a target? That's for everybody out there. Why do you pick people as a target where you're trolling or you're emailing? This is a big thing to be observed. And if it's 2%, it's 2% too much. And then I realized that the bully doesn't have self-love. The others that hear me, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm trying to reach like the non-believers and those who create upset and those that don't stop. Is this ascension process, especially 2020, will show you that you will not thrive pursuing these endeavors. It won't help you. There's no unfolding taking place. Yeah, we all have that excuse, as in a belief system, belief structures, and proof is science, and science has yet to understand there are more dimensional aspects to what the consensus allows. So I can go from here to here. It's all connected. As a child, I tried to retreat from when there was too much ruckus, asking myself, what have I done wrong that these people are upset coming at me? Or whether it's the color of my skin, I've been through this in Germany, or I think different, or I have philosophies that I share, or hobbies that I have. So it doesn't matter what you follow, if you're collecting stamps, or you believe in extraterrestrials, or if you believe in Buddhahood, or if you believe in Allah, or God, or Jehovah, or you believe in Jesus as a savior. As in the spiritual realm, in the galactic law, it doesn't matter what your belief structure is. What is to be looked at is your discipline and your peace in doing and living that, and behaving with discipline, bringing forth the good, and there's no complaint. My grandma used to say, kids that sleep, the good cook, people that tend their gardens, there's no blame. Why is that? Because these people are in their purpose. Somebody sits there, has their little sewing machine, they put together little fabrics, make their little, like I'm doing my art, and all they do is put artwork out and create. There's no blame. No one forces you to buy or eat in a restaurant that is not your preference. What does the bully or the troll do? They complain about the restaurant. Well, nobody asked for their opinion. Not everybody is in the position or called forth or brought into this here to share their opinion. This is a time, very pivotal time now, with everything that's going on, when businesses will open back up. The question is, will you go back to the same routine? Will you do the same things you've done before? And I think you won't. The modalities will be different. we will open up. So even as we have looked at science, that science has brought proof that paranormal energies exist, there's such a thing as a spirit and a conscious outside the body, the argumentation stops because we were duped. We were misled by the so-called expert that was funded by those who need money, not reality or the real thing. They needed the funds and take away the chi and hoard what is not rightfully theirs. And when too many on the left and villages hoard all the fish and there's no more fish in the fishing ground and the other villages suffer, guess what? The entire organism suffers. And we're learning that now. So when you bring home 300 million fish, then you give to the neighboring villages. Also, to get away from the consensus and the status quo of people thinking the cities should be the law of what law is, shall transform into a nature lore of you do not dilute the river. When you're divine and when you have enlightenment, to a degree, you shall not do the undivine. And there's an undivine way. There is turning away from the source, turning away from Allah, turning away from God, Jehovah, Viraskocha, Odin, Pakalvotan, anything that you believe in. There's a divine way to do things and there's an undivine way. Make no mistake. There's a destructive form and there's a creative form. And it's for you to reflect of what is creative, when am I creating, and when am I being destructive. Only you are responsible for what that is. And the reflection of what you see and you give meaning is only your ego attaching meaning to things that think where you think that is what has to bother you. So what we're learning in this quarantine of the mind, where am I thriving? Where do I prosper? And that's no disrespect for those who grab the bottle and continue their alcoholism. There's no prospering in sight physically. I had a friend of mine that just called me, said he almost died because of his blood pressure, blood levels, and insulin missing from his drinking behavior. He almost croaked, and he's not so happy about it, and he has to really think, well, the doctor said you got to cut that drinking. That's physical fact. So we can be so in denial about these things, but they're things that take place. When it rains, it rains. You have an umbrella, you stay somewhat dry. If you don't have an umbrella, you get wet. We have to come out of the Maya, the delusion of things that won't take place. When I plant a tree with my photonic science, that tree grows exponential. Let's bring in the paranormal. When you go to the mountains where Travis Walton was abducted, the biological fauna and flora is enhanced by 37%. But the masses are not interested in that. They want to know, as the president has a new poodle, or what's the next makeup of the Kardashians. And that shows you the level of interest, of consciousness, of unconscious repeater and mimic behavior. And now nature forces us, and it'll do it again, to come into alpha, to the frontal lobe, to get conscious, to develop awareness. And what does awareness mean? Oh, I sent an email and that was upsetting to you. Let me reflect. Let me not do that again. So everybody's out here, you want the magic, you want to move objects, walk over water, levitate to impress others. That is a performance. They always say they are, the natives say they are, you have a black wolf in you, which is the dark wolf, and you have the bright light wolf in you. Who you feed will determine of what divine character you will be, or what dark character you will be. So, not saying that I'm a saint, nobody's a saint, we have flaws, even a diamond has flaws. But in that process, there are things that shall be done and there's things that shall be stopped. And if things don't stop, they will be stopped. I looked at a person that acted up, got a divorce, lost custody over the kids, and then lost the apartment, and then lived in a trailer for 9 years. But got back up on his feet, got out of trouble with the law, paid off what he owed. You know, there are certain rules and regulations. I always say, don't demonstrate, don't use violence, and don't fight the establishment. Establish divine and pure knowledge within you, and you'll see your interest will pick other topics. And isn't it interesting that the so-called rich people, they're not online seeking, they're not trolling, because it's not profitable in any way. Tony Robbins said that, and you can mix that beyond the movie The Secret. Is what you're doing full of purpose, or are you upsetting others? Yeah, I've seen people that use their parents for their endeavors, the parents trying to fix the situation, creating upset, but the being that's creating that says, yeah, I'm galactic, this is the way it's supposed to be. That selfishness leads, at the end of the day, leads to destruction, self-destruction, homelessness, not being efficiently able to help themselves. What that creates is deterioration. That translates into degenerative energies that will manifest in the body over time, by choice. And we all do it. We can make a choice to make it more divine and more being of inspirato, to inspire one another. So do you think that babies, when they come to this planet, steal each other's food or hit one another? That's behavior that is learned through observation of what's around them. And this is conducive to you, or conductive, if you will. So what the environment represents, we tend to take on. It is the divine being that stands in the midst of all of this and says, I don't have to do that because everybody else thinks that is it. So if you want to demonstrate, the greatest demonstration is not signing a petition, is not buying into the product they're selling you, whatever that is, whatever label they give it. Labels can be tricky. The ultimate experience is experience. You buy a product, you eat that. Is that nourishing? Is that life-sustaining? Or is that a stimulant that comes and goes, never fulfills? See, like the one that has an addiction with the alcohol. Same thing with love. You get to the alcohol, you drink it, you love it, you like that feeling it gives you. You get all types of spirits in, which is known fact. But the alcohol is not you. And when you stop it, the effect stops and it doesn't work. So you're worshiping the deficit that you're having without it because you worship that what you need outside of yourself. Already, that's where you lost. And when people don't want to hear it, that's when you're lost. When you, on Instagram 11 hours a day, you're lost. Lost and found. But when you on Instagram 2 hours a day, you run your promos, you have your Etsy store, you got your PayPal store, you have an online business, you don't depend on commuting to an office or filling out an application. You are found. That's why the internet was created by us, for us to understand and understand. Now retreat back to the inner. Where are we going? Are we hunting outside thingies and invent labels to attack a label? And you know what the interesting illusion is? Somebody can say, I'm spiritual, and the other one says, well, there's no such thing as spiritualism. But did you know that the problem is not the word? The problem is that the illusion is created by those who want to attack that what somebody creates. I can say I believe into, I'm creating a new religion. Let's say I call it holotron dynamics. The existence of light and light communication within dimensions and dimensional layers at a certain frequential level. That teaching will come from the Ra group. and I'm channeling that in. If somebody would think or want to think it's a bunch of bogus, they can say that. But when I say those words, is if a shaman that sits, let's say a Kogi native in the Andes, and they say their spiritual belief system is, then I listen to the resonance and the peace that comes from that person saying that's what I do and it brings me joy. So if it's chopping wood, and if your spiritualism is the wood chopper, and figurines you make out of wood, and that's what you do, that is your divine purpose. The attacker is usually the one that possesses viral and foreign suggestion and thought patterns of a destructive nature, and it's not him. He wants to separate himself from you because he hates that you have joy. He hates that you have good business. Why would I hate everybody, or anybody for that matter, for their business? Why would I come at them and say, you know what, you're this and this and this and this and this. If I don't like that market, I don't go shopping there. If I prefer that market, I go shopping there. Is I act. I do not choose to react. And I train my mind to keep it that way. So online, when you're a public figure, you get attacks. And Ralph Smart said it, Will Smith said it, the toughest thing for us is you don't give up, you continue the train, you get back up, you continue this, there's no delay, there's nothing really affecting me in a bad way. I wish everybody well and everybody's safety. I believe in the symptoms. I don't believe in a retrovirus per se. I believe that people can get sick. I believe that people can carry sickness. Misery loves company. If a group of people are sick, well, you join the group. If everything hangs on you. You know, if there's a healthy cell and there's a sick cell, guess what? They always draw the energy from the higher. And it's up for the light workers, the way showers, to hold up that light undisturbed and say, I'm not projecting hate. I forgive my enemies. But you can't come to my house stealing. You can't come to my house disrespecting me. If I lay the rules on my property, these are my rules. Not as in a dictatorship, not tyrannical, just saying, this is the walkway, this is how you walk in, this is where the prayer takes place, this is how you respect my house, my aura. When we understand one another in that manner, growth potential is accumulated. There's denial, where we don't want to actually realize there's something going on that we don't like, especially in family. I've seen that in many of us. We know we have dysfunctional families where the mother denies that the son is a problem here. There's upset, and it's beginning to affect their life and other lives, but we're denying that this takes place. So we go so far. But when people defend themselves, well, the defense of the denier comes in. They always say denial is a river that flows in Egypt. The toughest thing in life is to see I have a problem here. I must face it. Alan Watts mentioned that. The problem is, it's like a ghost. And the ghost grows with all your projections. When you think people cross the line, when people say this and that, and all your projections into that ghost. Do you know what my grandma calls ghosts? Unfinished business. And the ghost manifests out of your fear and your anxiety and your projection of that. That gives the ghost the manifest. You. And the minute you cut that cord and you face that ghost and you dissolve it, the ghost will disappear. Guaranteed. So to come to the quintessential deal is, I do what I did as a child, and I thought it was wrong, is I observe, I watch, I remember how people treat me. I don't name names, I don't point fingers, but I see people talking about we're all family. They don't call me, nor am I integrated but we're all together in this. So a lot of people use labels and words and they don't really live up to it. Well, it is your choice who you want to hang out with. But always see this. The seer, which is how I see myself, will speak the truth as is, will tell you what is to be seen as is, not add or take away from that what is. So my pendants are not a magic trick. They don't do different things or act on stage. Therefore, keeping the body in bioresonance. So EMF is really not offsetting you, which is the major problem. EMF is the offset to bioresonance. That's why we get sick. Past the virus. And for years and years, I've been studying the paranormal since I was 11. What crystallized was crystalline technology, crystalline minds, crystalline energy keeps you in bioresonance with what actually Gaia is. Schumann resonance, by the way, is 7.83 hertz. It's not spiking. It never does. That's an illusion. I look at a site that measures that every day. It stays the same. Also, Schumann resonance is like the circumference of Earth. Earth is not growing like this. So another label that you can get lost in. So being in bioresonance, meaning being in divine resonance with the light, that's why I call myself Ra, is the memory of the light, original light, how it comes from creation and how that communicates to you without distortion. And that wants to be reestablished, and that's why I'm here. And that's why I teach what I teach. And I speak because I don't see others speak the way I do. So I bring that forth in clarity for you to be understood. And that's the basic level of developing magic, most of your own magic. You're a magical being. What did Gary Vee say? The chance to be birthed on this planet is like 400 trillion to 1. Do the math. So, you know, who needs lottery? When you are here, and I think Bashar said that, you're on earth, you're worthy. Now use that time. Now you can drink it away or eat sweets or eat till you explode. Not to diss anybody. Really re-evaluate your life right now. Look at what you have done. Look at upsets you have created. Look at love and peace that you have created. And look at potential peace that you can make with others that you had beef with for the last 10 years. And you come here, in this one Star Wars game I played, Luke said to this dark Jedi who turned light, after the dark Jedi asked him, you know, why are you doing this? Why keep on, you're going on with this, defending the light? And Luke Skywalker says, to be better. To be the better version of yourself, to make the better choice, to make the best choice for the best and highest possible outcome for you. And the only person that is responsible for that is you. And here comes the piercer. I don't care if you have a disease or not. Spirit is stronger than anything that can befall the body. I have lived it. I had Lyme. And I'll still carry my heart on my tongue. I love the world. I love my people. That doesn't change. My grandma had cancer. Very bad one. Coiled around her backbone, and before she passed, she was an angel. So when people have, I don't know, lupus, Hashimoto, fibromyalgia, MS, many things, you don't have to be an asshole. Because I've seen people using their disease as a I'm sick, so I have to be that way. That's an excuse of the egoic shadow mind, and you are here now, and this is the challenge, to no longer make an excuse for your behavior that is not accepted or nor acceptable. Is get in gear. You want to prosper, get in line in your divinity, in your divine light, and do right and just. because that is why you came to this planet. And this forevermore is the time now. Find your purpose. And if your purpose is not being in the spiritual community and selling cars, but economical cars and hybrids, and that's your purpose, then find your purpose and follow that. Usually it was hard to be in your purpose because we were in a survival nature. But now by choice and with the internet, there's no excuse that you cannot find what you really like and see if there is sales. And all of a sudden you start making something, you have a store, and sales begin. You haven't even run a promo. See, as the wind responds, there is a reflective response to your creational output and the collective answers to that. That's how you thrive. And that's what the future will bring. And businesses that will no longer thrive or blow up or corruption, all of these, everything under coercion, manipulation, energetically it will be less and less possible. Sick behavior will create upset. I don't know. The landlord will cancel your rent deal because you're creating havoc. And in your neighbor garden, everything is clean, driveways clean, house is in top shape, they love you, they lower the rent, they give you credit because you do so. It's right now, many people said that as you lay your law, so it is. So your behavior, how you drive around, that is, you are creating that. All the responsibility comes back to you. If you want to drive around without a license plate, without registration, and you get pulled over, and you wonder why you have to pay $400, well, you want to ask for it, it will respond in that way. But if you behave in peace and do your thing and do your creations, really, if anything shall come there, that will be, the dark side, but I think less and less has a chance to access you, because I think the dark only has access to where you're unconscious, where you mimic without the knowledge of the embodiment. This is you, this is what you do. So get out of the delusional self of the imaginary me. I'm the persona, that means sound, the sound, that frequency, and make yourself better. Where somebody can say, you know what, I'm glad that this works for you, I'm happy for you. It doesn't matter what you believe or who you're in contact with, or if it can be hockey, it can be extraterrestrials. It's the same energy. It's just a directive. If you want to go more outskirts, you like traveling the world, or you just want to stay in your neighborhood. Some people want to go out a little bit more, so why not? Let them all talk. Let them all bring papers, let them all bring their documents and their proofs and show fragments and whatever they find. People want proof. But the proof is not only in the artifact that you bring forth from your journeys. It's the experience that you bring back from your journey. The way you act, your posture, the way you walk through life, the way your alignment works. That has to do with magic. And you do that, the unfolding begins automatically. And when my courses come, no timeline yet, because it takes a very long time. In detail, there are things that you can practice to make it so, and you will be successful. The only thing that you're here to gain is experience, and you don't have to fail in a way that you'll hurt yourself. So as they say, if you can levitate, don't try to jump from rooftops from the ground up. Don't be a moron. And right now, nobody is levitating. And don't believe in any videos that you see. You have to be present when things take place. When you see or witness miracles, be present and go to places where miracles take place. So when I've seen people on stage that show that their x-rays I had a tumor here this size, and 4 weeks later I had an encounter with an angel in a ship, like a friend of mine, Alberto, and he shows his x-rays and he's clear, and the doctor has no idea how this disappears. That's physical fact. There's no debate. That what we call miracle is the speed of manifest that we cannot account for because we don't have the regular proof based on the consensus or the status quo. And we are now having the opportunity to leave that. So if a CDC expert tells you this is the drug you're supposed to take, just because they're funded by the pharma, doesn't make him the expert with the statistic that he's showing you. That's why this is the year of the rat. Be inquisitive, be vigilant, stay put, conserve your energy, and see that there's opportunity for you, not having to use trickery, with ease to get into life and to thrive and grow into your human potential. Reach the apex of your destiny, from the pinnacle of the potential that must be found in you, that only lies in you. So, when you've finished watching me, look at your choices and write down the things you love. And concentrate on that. Not having to be ignorant of the misfortunes of the world. But bring the love here. Bring peace to people. Give people peace. And the trolls with their 2 viewers and nobody watches you and 3 friends and all that, you're heard too. The cry for love is big, but you don't do that with an axe or sexual behavior or predatorial metaphors and bombarding people with emails that do not respond. If somebody doesn't respond to your emails after 3 emails, call it a day. If there's 96 emails, then the sickness lies with those who send that out. So if it's like yin and yang, if it's too much output and there's no, how do you say, reciprocation, as in a flow, then we stop. We look at ourselves and we stop. Look at all the people that you have blocked. Don't unblock what was toxic. You stay out of that realm and you leave it. And I always said, you know, I wish that my ex-business partner from the music industry would, you know, sit down with me and talk, and we have a good talk and get over it. And when I made an attempt, he kind of shied back. So you leave it at that. When somebody is not ready to process, you leave them with their process. They're not ready to process. We step back. So I'm more involved in business and less social media. And to help yourself is have a healthy immune system, stay shielded from EMF, lower your screen time, make your screen time, as in close-up, for business short. And if you have a TV, sit in a distance. Have a big TV, then sit, I don't know, 10 feet away from it. And get out. Get in nature, save lives. Sit on a rock by yourself. It's guaranteed not contagious. Science has found out when you remove people from the dense populated areas into nature, their IQ goes up, their emotion balances out, their biochemical levels, their metabolisms balance out, and they get better. So in the future, do you have to live in Washington? Do you have to live in New York? Do you have to pay X amount of rent and pay crazy taxes, and where the property tax is 10 times higher than Arizona? Do you have to? Are you really obligated to stay there? The future holds that dense areas at some point, when they do not step into the green technology and the betterment, sorry, there's a plane, they will become ghost towns, naturally. And those who seek peace will go out, move the rural country, settle, get an acre instead for $20 million, maybe for $300,000. You know, don't have a mortgage that nobody can pay. Maybe sell your house because it's not effective economically, and you build a container home. Who knows? I mean, I've seen these videos popping up. We are learning now, and we're getting it, to help ourselves, to step away from conspiracy and fear and create in love. You're here to create. You are gifted. Every breath that you take, you're gifted. When this body shuts down, you're not coming back, no matter the name. This personality will not return. So use your time while you're here in this fantastic pivotal time where everything is changing, and get into your purpose. Don't be nervous about it. Be proud and step forward and make it so. Make your parents proud, make your people proud, make your friends proud by you finding what you love. And this is not having to love somebody or having to love a substance that you need. It's what's always there, you. Your hands serve you. Best relationship ever. Night and day. Your feet will carry you where you need to be going. Your lungs will give you the air you need in order to carry out your tasks. You sleep, you recoup. Respect your body, which in Egypt is the temple of God. And not heretic or devil worship, all that crap. When you respect life and treat life with respect and enhance life and bring life accumulating and life affirming things to you, there's no argument. You can be 70 years old and look like me and be all muscular because you're doing it right. And that's what the truth will bring forth. It'll be evident which spiritual coach is doing it right. And people will listen to that, follow that, and get better. So please, if you feel the vibe, join your tribe, subscribe. I represent the Ra group. And this is partially channel, partially my opinion. I mix it. I'm an unconventional channel. I can go into this interdimensional and holographic projective stuff, or I can go back to, make it relatable, be more here with you, and do my job. So we all do our job. And this is more overall the message of the Ra group. Is we're here to enhance consciousness, making people conscious and bringing the cosmic memory of your eternity, cosmic, infinite being, turn that back on. And sometimes these jolts happen, but we all must think again. And it happens again until we get it right. And the more people get it right, the less rupturous it would be. And on that note, I love you very much, and I most certainly see you on the flip side. Still 4D. In progress. Peace.